What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk about this statement made by one of the actors in the Black Widow movie about him being the first mutant in the MCU. I want to talk about our reporting on that because back in the day, we actually did think that he was definitely going to be Ursa Major and the first mutant in the MCU. And then I want to talk about why I think plans might have changed with the mutants and some of the reports that you may have missed in 2021 about the Mutants project. If you'll recall, the Mutants was a project that was scooped by the Illuminati earlier this year, and that does look to be where Feige is going to be rebooting the X-Men, and it kind of, I think, explains, in context with some of the other things Feige has said, what is actually going on with mutants in the MCU. So first, let's check out this article here. This is over on IGN. It says, Black Widow actor says he plays the MCU's first mutant. Okay, so the actor is Olivier Richters, and he is in Black Widow. You see him in the scene, in the prison escape scene, playing across from Red Guardian, and of course he smashes his arm, breaks his hand. He calls him the little bear in that scene, but you don't really see anything else other than that. But it says here, speaking on Instagram, Richter said, Marvel Black Widow is out after 2 years. I can finally tell you who my character is. Ursa Major, the first mutant X-Men to appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When production on set told me who I really was in Black Widow, I led some tears in my hotel room, he continued, because my movie dream became true. Being an official cosmic superhero, I can only hope Marvel will bring back Ursa in full form. Here's the picture over here. I mean, dude, what a massive human being. And he was obviously super huge in the scene across from David Harbour, and I really liked him in that scene. So what's interesting about that actually is back in the day, we were doing articles, or we were going to do articles for our website. I know some of you are cringing right now because you're like, Josh, are you ever going to publish articles on the website? We will, eventually. I'm sorry. Things are crazy right now. But back in the day, Nerdvenger Stormy was doing a bunch of research for articles, and he stumbled upon an interview, and I think it was in Dutch, where this dude was hinting at being Ursa Major. And so there was a theory we all had that Ursa Major was going to show up in that movie. And then when I heard the little bear thing, or honestly, immediately when I saw that dude show up on screen, I was like, here we go, Ursa Major, baby. But no, instead they just break his hand and he calls him the little bear, and then that's all that it is. Now, in that same interview, I just want to kind of say that this dude said there were a lot more things shot, and that on the set, they liked this dude so much that they shot a lot more, had him do even more for the movie. Whatever they had him do obviously got cut from the film. We know a lot of stuff got cut from Black Widow, including a Tony Stark scene, other things like that, right? So maybe Ursa Major was going to play more of a role in this movie, and they held it back. I'm starting to get this vibe that Feige and a lot of the team working on Black Widow really wanted it to be all about Black Widow, and they wanted to remove a lot of the other, distractions, or what I would call connective tissue and fun Avengers type stuff. They wanted to remove that. They wanted it just to be Natasha's movie. I'm sort of indifferent on it. I didn't think Black Widow was the greatest or the worst MCU movie, but this has people talking. Like, is this now the first X-Men in the MCU? Are they actually going to make that dude a mutant retroactively? I don't know, because it kind of seems like they downplayed it. I'm sure they actually told that dude that, but I think things have changed, guys, and this is going all the way back to San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, because if you'll recall, he didn't mention X-Men or mutants, but he said on the stage of San Diego Comic-Con, after he brings out Mahershala Ali for Blade, he says, I didn't even have to talk about the Fantastic Four. I didn't even have time to talk about this and that and the mutants. Okay, and so the mutants, when he said that, a lot of people were like, whoa, X-Men, the mutants, what's going on with that? When he was asked about that after the presentation, he said more or less, we have a 5-year plan, so you probably won't see X-Men anytime soon, but I use X-Men and the mutants interchangeably.
And you name dropped Fantastic Four, but you only referred to the X-Men as, quote, mutants. And I'm curious, are you guys not looking to go the route of a traditional X-Men titled movie for those characters?
Mutants and X-Men are interchangeable. I just said mutants. But yes, whatever we do will be quite different than what's been done before.
So what do I think's going on? I think if we look at this scoop here from earlier this year in 2021, it'll make a little bit more sense, okay? So this is coming in from the Illuminati. He's talking about how Marvel Studios is currently developing an X-Men-based feature film tentatively titled The Mutants, okay? And down here, if we look at this, they're saying the Illuminati has learned of a Marvel Studios-led project produced by Marvel Kevin Feige, CCO, entitled The Mutants. It's currently being developed as a future film and is intended to be a reboot of the X-Men franchise. Okay, let me go back to time, or in time rather. When we first talked about this, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it could be a movie thing. Maybe it could be a Disney Plus thing. Maybe it's really, really early in production. Not a lot of other people are talking about it. Guys, I've come to learn a little bit more about the Illuminati. I've talked to some of the people over there, and I'm pretty confident this is legitimately 100% real. And it, again, makes sense as to why Feige in 2019 said the mutants and not the X-Men. And so I think in some ways he has a different kind of plan for X-Men and mutants. I think we will still get the X-Men. I know some people are bugging out because Marvel is doing some stuff these days that are a little bit more woke. And so when people hear like Victoria Alonso say X-Men is not the best way to say it, and it's somehow maybe sexist or something, like frankly a lot of us X-Men fans like that is ridiculous, because the X-Men had some of the most amazing female characters ever. It's literally an allegory for civil rights. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, X-Men is a dope name, just allow it to happen. And I think it still will, but I know the fact that it's called the Mutants does sort of bring that into question. Feel free to argue about that in the comics. I think regardless, where I want to sort of take this is that it seems to me that Feige has changed his plans of what he might have wanted to do with mutants, and now he's not only bringing them in faster than that 5-year period, because I think this film going into production now means we'll see it in 2 to 3 years faster than that 5-year thing. I think the Pandy has slightly changed that. I think he has more of an idea of what he wants to do with the multiverse, and so he's more free to fit mutants into that a little bit. And I still think you're ultimately going to end up with the X-Men, but if it's really truly the story of mutants in the MCU, then I think a couple of things. I think the name The Mutants makes sense, because you won't just have mutants. You might have X-Force, Brotherhood of Mutants, all kinds of crazy things going on with that film, and it might well tie into the multiverse as well. So maybe The Mutants is more of an apt title. I know some people, again, are afraid of it being a woke thing. I don't know if I'm there yet. But I also think that it probably means Feige's going to downplay mutants in other projects, right? I think Ursa Major is going to be downplayed by Marvel, because I think Feige really wants to put the oomph into the mutants film. I know a lot of people were like, maybe we get Apocalypse in the Eternals. Maybe we get Ursa Major or Omega Red in some of these other projects. Maybe in Shang-Chi you'll see some mutants fighting as well. I don't know, guys. With this thing being now developed, right, The Mutants, with the fact that he's changing it a little bit, but he already had the plan, I think, all the way back in 2019 when he said The Mutants specifically at San Diego Comic-Con. I think that he always had two plans. One was for his MCU, if he got the mutants or not, this was what he was going to do with those characters, and I think even that has changed since. But then he had this other plan for what he would do with the mutants when and if he got them back. I mean, I absolutely just think that's the kind of producer and thinker and, frankly, big nerd that Kevin Feige is. So I think we'll probably get mutants really in The Mutants movie. I wanted to sort of remind people that that's a scoop that's out there, that he's doing that and developing that. And yeah, I think we'll probably after that point see mutants more in the MCU. So I don't know if I actually agree with this actor that he is playing Ursa Major. And even if he is, they might not make Ursa Major a mutant in the MCU, kind of like what they did with Wanda. And who knows, maybe Wanda's still a mutant, and she was the first mutant in the MCU. So I just wanted to kind of bring this story up. I want to see what you guys think about this. What do you think about the actor, the Ursa Major dude, saying that he's the first mutant? Do you think he's telling the truth and that they will do more with that character? Or do you think they'll downplay that and probably downplay mutants in general until The Mutants comes out or something a little bit closer to that? I mean, Namor is said to be in Black Panther 2. Maybe they want to use that to amplify Namor as the first mutant. I don't know, guys. Just wanted to update you with what is being said by this actor and the most recent report of Feige's actual plan for the mutants. So let me know your thoughts about all of that in the comment section below. I want to remind you to check out the live streaming channel. We do a ton of live streams over there throughout the week. It's always a good time. Come on by with your questions, your theories. If you want to yell at me, that's the best place to do it. So come on by the live streaming channel. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.